I'll go just alone. I can't stop scratching my mind. I gotta keep asking why. Stop telling me all the time everything will be fine. I can't stop scratching my mind. I don't know.
What is going on, guys? I see Jiha and Vanillix here. How are you guys doing today? Hope you had a good Monday and a good Tuesday. All right, let's see if the switch will turn on here. How you guys doing? You had a good day? Awesome, good to hear, man. Trying to get the Switch running here. You have classes. Yeah, they're like kind of starting back up after holidays now, aren't they? Very strange. Let's see if I can't get this working. Apologies for it taking a little bit here, but sometimes the Elgato is a bit finicky. I want to say it's the USB cable in it, but I'm taking the Switch out. Switch is showing something. I was pointing it at the wrong screen. No signal. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, it makes sense there, I took it out, but when I drop it back in the dock, it picks up that there's a signal. It picks up enough of a signal here. So, no, or it didn't. I'm gonna have to just like reseat the cap card and hope that fixes it here. Alright, let's see if that worked. Yo, one! Cinder, how's it going, guys? Welcome to technical difficulties of the live stream. Yeah, cap card troubles. I'm trying to do as much as I can without rebooting the computer. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the Elgato software can be a bit funky when the cap card starts doing that. Yeah, it's super hit or miss sometimes, but when it works, most of the time. It says no signal. Detecting signal. Alright, it's showing now. Still not quite for you guys, but maybe now? Maybe not. There we go! There we go, now it's a stream. Once my controller turns on. There we go. Yo, Grenji, how's it going? Guess having a game class really inspired you to work with game engines. I would assume it inspires you to do your homework for it, yeah. There we go, we got the cap card working. Yeah, like, I don't know, something's up with either the connector, hopefully not like the connector in the cap card, it's just the cable, and I can try a different cable. Yeah, so either it's something in the connection with the cable, either the cable itself or the plug on the USB-C end's messed up. One of the two. Basically, it's an issue with the cable. It's an issue between the cap card and the computer. So it's one thing where I can't justify it because having a couple little glitches right at the start of like every like fourth or fifth stream is not worth the cost of one. But I'd love to get one of the like the PCIe based capture cards. You know, basically where it just slots into your motherboard and stays there because like then the only cables you have to deal with are the HDMI cables. So I'd greatly prefer that, but I can't justify that, you know? You drew something today and you're really proud of yourself. Awesome! I'd love to see it if you're willing to share. I've been trying to get into just, in general, being a bit more, like, creative with things, and one of those things was drawing. So I doodled a little cat. That's about the most I've done so far. I need to take some more time and actually, like, sit down and practice. You don't have homework yet, it's just starting to mess with Unity. You made a game? Nice. Yeah, Unity's fun to mess around with. It can do most things. It can't, like, be quite as... It's not quite as powerful as some of the other ones, especially, like, when you start getting down into it. But, like, it works well enough for, like, 99% of things. Classes are starting. Rip, man. A lot of us are known you for years. You need food. Is going tired. You need food and animate and Photoshop. But I feel like Photoshop's making it more tired, right? You love how a lot of us have known you. Yeah. I think everyone here right now has been around for a while. You want pointers? I mean, yeah, sure. Really, like, the biggest thing for me starting right now is just, like, coordination, right? Like I don't use, like, the fine motor skills in my hand much, you know, aside from, like, typing or using a mouse with my non-dominant hand. So, like, for me, like, I just have to get used to drawing. So one of the things I did, and really should keep doing, but I'm lazy and don't want to move my keyboard to set the tablet on on my desk, which is such a sad reason not to try to get into something more. But it was just drawing circles, seeing if I could make anything similar to a circle. I know Procreate does, like, the ellipse tool and stuff, but I feel like I should know how to, like, draw a decent circle that's not really just, like, a spiral on my own, right? But yeah, sure. Always happy to hit for points. Can't figure it out Unreal. Yeah, so that's where, like, Unity is easier to learn and pick up. Unreal can do a bit more, generally. And that's just kind of the distinction, right? Like, if it's easier to use, it's not going to do as much, just because it's more general. But it's always a good stepping stone, right? Year and a half ago, you drew a reference to one of your OCs. Today, you decided to add on a few more details. Nice. I think the class is going to teach you how to use Unreal, but your professor is saying you get to choose Unity or Unreal. Okay. I mean, up to you, whichever you feel more comfortable with. I feel like from my limited experience, Unity let you get farther without, like, proper coding experience. Like, there's a lot more just pre-built assets. Like, the Unity asset store is, like, a big draw of it, right? Trying to get back into animation. Haven't been properly into animation in several years, and have been so upset with yourself. I just couldn't get back into it. I feel that, like, you know, you kind of hit, like, a slump with something, and then you just get stuck in it, and it's like this, almost like, it's basically just a self-defeating spiral, right? like, oh, I need to do that, but then, like, oh, I haven't done it in so long, I'm not good at it, so you get discouraged about it, and you just don't do it. At least that's how it is for me. You're gonna learn Unreal either way. I definitely think Unreal's the better one to learn long term. You can design a bunch of stuff in Unity without coding. Yeah, I mean, I think Unreal lets you do that as well. Usually both kind of would like you at the end of the day to use something like Maya to really make all the assets for it. And then just from there you'd be posting them into. You'd just be loading them into Unreal or into Unity. But yeah, Unity kind of lets you do a little bit more from what I've seen. Like, I've messed around with Unity just because it's also, like, free forever. Unless you start doing, like, commercially viable work with it. So, like, that's how a lot of that software can be, is, like, you more so only start paying once you're a company. Or once you start making enough money that they're like, come on now, like, the license for this software is a % of what you've made, like... So, like, Unity's good in that regard, too, right? Unreal's asset library is kind of small. Yeah, because it's a game engine, it's not a game designer. Like, it's having a game engine versus having a game maker, right? Like game makers tend to be on top of an engine and let you do some stuff, but it's like, here's this asset. Like, you can add in things to make it a bit more custom, but, like, a game maker will sell itself as being, you don't need to buy anything else, you don't need to make anything else, using everything that's 100% in this tool, you can build it. Where a game engine's like, yeah, here's the code to have a computer move the things that you made around. So yeah, like, that makes sense. This is exactly it. It says all content you've ever tried to make too, especially animation. Your channel was founded on animation, you enjoy it. I mean, yeah, that... I definitely find myself in situations where it's like, I set an expectation for myself, and if I don't meet it, I just, like, give up. And, like, of course that makes it worse. Like there are certain things where I found myself, like, where I've been able to catch myself in that. And it hasn't been anything creative, but it's been a couple things where I just want to, like, improve. And, like, I'm trying my hardest to, like, extend that into other things. I think, you know, for one, the big thing's, like, just setting the expectations lower again, and I know, like, it sucks when, like, you know where you were at, you don't do it a while, you're rusty, and then you come back and it's like, alright, well, you have all these memories of, like, or, like, in the case of, like, making things, like, you have all this evidence that you can do better, but logic and just reality dictates, like, you haven't done it in a while, it's gonna take a bit. It's gonna take a bit to get back, but it can be discouraging when you're like, oh, I'm gonna at least do that. Like, it's been a while, time has passed, I should be better. But it's like, you haven't done it, you're not gonna be better. Unity has so many pre-made assets, it's insane. Yeah, like, a lot of pre-made stuff, and then on top of that, like, you have the whole asset store where people design things and rig them for Unity and then sell them. Yeah, so, like, you can get a bit further in Unity just, like, off the bat because of that. Like, you know, Unity, like, has pre-built in, like, multiple different styles of pre-built games for you to play with. Yo, Meaty Man and Plasma Fox and Leavani Tribe, welcome everyone. How are you guys doing today? That's not a shiny. Indeed it is not. Not yet, at least. We will find one soon, though. You like cheese? Cheese can be pretty good. I especially like it when it is mixed with mac. So much simpler to work with. Yeah. And again, like, you'll find it a lot with software stuff, and in general with any kind of tool, because the game mentions a tool. The simpler it is to pick up, the less you can do with it, but you gotta start somewhere. Pretty good. Mario 3D World looks good. I didn't watch any of the videos, but I saw, like, that there was a new trailer released for it. So what? It's coming to... From what I gather, it's coming to Switch and it has, like, a new expansion on it, right? Is that what it is? Apologies for being completely out of the loop on this. I saw that a video existed during work today. I was like, oh, I'll have to check that out later, and then proceeded to not check it out in time for the stream. February 12th. Nice. Yeah, I haven't played any of the 3D. Like, I haven't played 3D World or 3D Land or anything. I never had a Wii U, and with my 3DS, I, like, almost exclusively play Pokemon. So yeah, I haven't played Mario 3D World in any ways. We do have Meowser, this is true. I'll probably have to pick that up. Godslayer Bowser. Is that really like what the name translates to directly? I can see him doing that. Yo, Wake, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Shiny Pog. It's the official name. Yeah, no, I can 100% see that in the Japanese version. Paid the Google Play dev fee. All right. How much is it for Google? I, I feel like Apple's is like more expensive because that's usually how it is. But I feel like it used to be free to post stuff on like the Google Play Store. But you know that was like 5+ years ago. I'd be more surprised if it stayed the same in that amount of time. You get big furry Bowser. You're sad? You're sad about that? 25? That's not terrible. Bowser took over Nintendo. Yeah, all the games are going to be Bowser games now. Isn't it 100 a year on Apple? I feel like I had heard like 100 or 120 because usually what I'd hear the number around was like back when like getting the newest version of iOS as fast as possible was way more of a big deal. Like, you know, like the iOS 5 to 6 to 7 era where like they all drastically changed the look of it. I know like it was a big deal to be like in the beta program basically. So I remember it was like, oh, it's like $120 and you can get like iOS early, and it's like, all right, but why? So I feel like that's where I heard the 120. So like 100 a year sounds right. The big thing you have to figure out is how to ease yourself back into animating. Finding something not too difficult, but would also catch your interest and possible. Only that of any potential viewers. Yeah. I definitely feel like content creator to content creator, focus on just something that you enjoy more than anything else. Like, you know, because I always feel like if I expect a certain audience on something, that's just another point for me to be disappointed, you know? Like, not saying like, oh, it won't get that, like not trying to be like that, but you know, it's always such a better feeling if you're like, this little number will see it, and then like any more than that's like, oh, it beat expectations, versus like even if you set your expectations at where it hit, you know, you're kind of like, oh, hey, it did that, cool. I was sweating it wouldn't. But yeah, and also again, like if you worry about like what other people want to see, then like you're not gonna make exactly what you want. It's like, nah, just make what you want to make. I doodled a small little cat and was extremely proud of it. I was like, it's nothing. It's not what I want to do, like, long term, but hey, I doodled a little cat, and it looked kind of neat. Yeah, good reintroduction project. I feel that. You're in the middle of editing a video and your notification will remind you of the stream. Hey! I can't wait to see the video, man. It's always cool to, like, put those on and, you know, see how you do it. I'm impressed that, like, you just straight up do it looking at a reference and then, like, but, like, don't, like, do skeletons or anything. It's just straight up, there's the line art, and then you ink it. It's like, I definitely feel like I would need, like, to do the skeletons and everything first. Yeah. But it also kind of stings to make something you like and really passionate about, only to find no one to see it, or if they do, they don't acknowledge it. Yeah, I feel that. So we've been talking about the cap card problems. That's the cap card problem right there. I gotta plug it in. Hi Drogal, welcome to the stream. 1 second while I deal with the technical difficulties. I'm tethered to the mic. I have to move it. Alright, let's hope that fixed it. I have a feeling we're gonna have to reset the capture on OBS. That's usually what happens. Yeah. Alright, cool. Elgato recognized it, so now I just gotta deactivate and reactivate it here. Yeah, I think this is a cable. I can't imagine this is a... I can't imagine this is something internal in the capture card that's an issue. But I definitely would. I would much prefer to have like one of the pro cap cards from Elgato that just like I said, just slots into the computer. No USB cables to deal with. No bandwidth issues that I could run into of it just like losing data because too much is plugged into the same USB port or USB bus. Yo, a horse, welcome. How you doing? And Bromine, welcome, man. I feel like it's been a while. How you doing? You hate doing skeletons even back when you were 13 for physical paper. So to trust yourself and do the final line art. Interesting. Very interesting. I get it. I understand that. Like, you know, you just kind of want to do it. I don't know. I wouldn't trust myself at all. Like, I have a terrible sense of when things are lined up properly. If I don't have, like, dozens of little references and things, like, I'll just second guess myself until it's super far off, you know, if I'm trying to, like, hang a poster up on a wall or something, or, like, try to hang two up next to each other, it's like, if I eyeball it, I get it close, and then I look at it and go, no, that's wrong, and I tweak it until it's just offensively, like, tilted, and they're offset, and they're not, like, lined up. So I definitely feel like if I started doing, like, drawing type stuff, I would need the skeletons and everything. I just need to change your mindset entirely. Change what you want your channel to be. I've been thinking maybe you could, maybe you should be treating your content creation as a journey. Yeah, I think one thing that I kind of also do this is, like, you can pigeonhole yourself real easily if you're like, this channel's gonna be for this. And it's like, and only this. And then it's like, because at the time you're like, I will never not like making this kind of content. And you might always like it, but you might also, like, one day be like, I want to try something else. And then you're like, oh, but, like, this channel's for this, and only this. You know, like, for the longest time, I wouldn't do anything except for Pokemon on my channel. Just because, like, no, I started this for Pokemon. People want to watch Pokemon. If that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I think there are plenty of channels out there, and there are plenty of, like, massive channels that are like, oh, they're known for this. They've always done that, right? It's like, you know, they might be a gaming channel now, or just like, or a vlogging channel, and they started as the other one, and it's like, yeah, just, the channel evolves with you. It's your thing. You can do whatever the heck you want with it. Make your content follow suit. That makes it you can just enjoy things and don't have to follow pursuits of perfection. Absolutely, yeah. Wow, the whole point's to enjoy it. Like, if you don't enjoy it, it doesn't matter, like, how successful you are with it, you're gonna burn out. You know, especially with, like, it almost feels like the less you enjoy it, if it's successful, the more you feel like you have to do it, and then you're just gonna burn out immediately. You're doing great. Awesome to hear, horse. Don't listen to Leave Annie's lies. Coke and Pepsi should never be consumed together by a mere mortal. Beat Giovanni, what do you do now? Victory Road, it is for you, bud. I started making YouTube content, I was like, yeah, this is gonna bring a lot of toxicity into my life. I don't want to make videos, so I don't care. I mean, it doesn't have to bring in the toxicity, right? Like, you know, a lot of that comes down to, like, you know, what kind of content you put out, how, like, you treat the channel and the community and stuff, and, you know, it's... People have said, like, you know, the communities are a reflection of the streamer. Like, if you're a super toxic streamer or a super toxic content creator, then of course your audience, you're gonna, like, pull in those kind of people, right? Like, all the people who don't want the toxicity aren't gonna watch, and then of course people who want it are also gonna be like that, you know? Because, like, I feel like the most toxicity that I've had on this channel is every once in a while a troll shows up, and, like, they try to get me to, like, react, and I don't, and then they get bored and leave. Like, that's legitimately, like, the most toxic it's ever been, is, like, half the time, because I'm not, like, worried about trolls or looking for them or anything, like, I don't even realize that's what they're doing, or, like, I just immediately, like, it's like, oh, that's clearly a troll, just, like, delete the message and, like, time them out for 5 minutes or whatever. forget I did that, and then they're more upset when they come back and go, you didn't react at all. It's like, yeah, of course not. That's what you want. And I don't want you, right? Like, yeah, but it's really just you do have to be careful with it, though, right? Like, you can't just... It can become toxic really quickly, for sure. And you really love it and roll with the positivity. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, if you're a positive person out there, like, streaming and stuff, and I don't even mean like in the you're happy all the time, but just in like the... If you're not being a jerk to other people, they tend to not be a jerk to you. Like... So, yeah. Beat the Celadon gym? Oh, I guess you only beat Giovanni for the first time. Had to split comments. You good, man. You good. Yo, Jafet. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Welcome to the stream. Have you ever tried RNG abuse for Flawless Shiny? I tried doing some RNG abuse to get Shinies in Emerald, just because it's easy to do it there. So like I did a regular Trico hunt in Emerald, so I could get like my proper save file and get the shiny frame there. Then we tried RNG abuse, and the RNG gods punished us by making it so that the only Pokemon available in the like shiny frame in any of the routes I have access to before the second gym is Poochyena. Excuse me. Oh, the tea. Yeah, the tea. So I forgot, it was water before, right? And they made it tea in this one, or am I just, like, completely wrong? Yes, the Pooch emote! It's been so long since I've seen that, Cinder. Yes! One of the member emotes is the Poochyena, is the shiny Poochyena. We have, like, 13 of them. We found so many of them one day. I think that was the 1,000 subscriber, like, special thing, right? Like, that was... that was a good time. We just, like, went for as many shiny Poochyenas as we could in, like, an hour and a half. And it was, like, 13. That was a fun time. It's hard, though. Yeah, it was hard. Like, you have to do a normal, like, hunt up front, and, like, you have to do a little bit extra because it's Emerald for the soft resetting. But once you get that frame, it helps if you record it. If you're able to record your footage, because then you can, like, really track down that frame. You can track down the timing really well. Chair best Pooch, yes, yes. Man, we gotta get back into some of the older games sometime. I wanted to do it in the middle of this. Like, the original plan was to have 3 captures going, just because I've never done that. I'd be like, oh, let's be crazy, guys. Like, let's do 3 caps, because you know I have the other like original DS capture card, but it doesn't. I don't know how I got it to play. How they got the 2 of them to play nice on my old computer, but. For the life of me, I cannot get the 3DS and the original DS capture cards to play nice with each other. It's just a thing where they like the drivers they need are the same name or like for the same device but different versions. And I'm not about to go and try to change like what driver they want to look for. That's beyond my skill set as far as like Windows IT kind of stuff. Cinder's the real OG. Been there since 0 subs. Cinder has been around a long time. I think the most OG person who's shown up to this stream so far is Grenji. Grenji was here. Grenji was like here before 100 subs. Yeah, since Poiple. God, Poiple Hunt 2. I remember finishing the Poiple Hunt, going back to finish up the Ultramoon playthrough we were doing, because Poiple went on for extremely long, because it was Poiple. Yeah, Poiple went on for extremely long. We got it finally, and we went back to the rest of the Ultramoon playthrough, and people were like, well, why are you doing a playthrough now? The game's already been out like several months. It's like, because I'm still in the middle of mine, dang it. Yeah, Poiple was a long one. Yeah, that was also, I think, the height of my internet issues, too. Because I remember a large amount of the reason why people took so dang long is the streams were like 5 minutes long. That was like a rough time at points, you know, like a lot of those streams I honestly probably could have salvaged, but just the internet issues exhausted me too much and I just like gave up. I was like, never mind, honestly, just like flip the computer off like entirely and just like walk away for a while. Will I do a Wally Shiny Worlds hunt? If he kept it the whole game, absolutely. The problem is, like, there's no point. There's no point in doing it, because as soon as it evolves into Kirlia, it just becomes a set Pokemon. Which I think is really sad. I wish it kept its stats. They showed up, you're like, I'm hunting for Rizian, I gotta chill for my entertainment. Man, that was a while back. Yeah, I think that sounds right. Mel, I felt Mel and I met right in the middle of me trying to get my channel back. Not sure when you subbed, but you remember falling asleep while doing homework with the stream playing in the background. I'm glad I could help bore you to sleep. Yeah, Poipole was a good one. You're here for a few days. Yeah. A few days. I wonder how long Juan's been here. Yeah, there's a good number of hunts that I feel like I've just kind of forgotten because it's been so long since a lot of them at this point. Like, you know, Mel's talking like 2017. Yeah, you've been here a little bit, Vanillix. Feels like years now. Well, I mean, it's been years, bud. So yeah, I think my first stream was like 2017. It would have been 2017. It's like June 2017, like late June. That was just the day I said screw it. Went and right, so I'd been thinking about it for a bit, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool. And what happened was, like, Brad let me borrow his old GameCube with the Game Boy player, and like I hooked it up to my TV just in like the basement at the time. It was just home for the summer. It's like, oh, this is really cool. Like, oh, I can play these games. Like, I could stream this. You know, I've wanted to stream something. This would be a fun thing to stream. And I said, screw it. Drove down to the electronics store the next day, bought like a $20 cheapo, like AV to USB capture card, and it was 100% designed to like record VHS tapes to file. Nothing else. And I slapped that onto a black OBS background, and there we went. Remember coming home from school every day, wanting to watch the streams, super good at chat. Even a lot of days you had to get ready for work. Yeah, you were always able to stop by, even if it was just, you know, like 15, 20 minutes. Always good to have you guys here. Knows Ian better, Cinder or Mel. I would assume Mel. I might be wrong, but I would assume Mel. Yeah, Mel might have a slight lead there. Yeah, it feels like years now. It's been years. I mean, yeah, most of the streams are over a year old at this point. You know, like it's over a year and a half since I'd like, you know, stopped for a while, stopped doing the daily streams. Be surprised your best friend knows you better than your sister. I mean, that's one thing. Like, that makes sense. I could agree with that. In certain respects, I could agree with that. Yeah, you came in like right after I had moved to my apartment. That's when I remember seeing you come around. And that's when it was like really blowing up, you know. That's when I had when like 40 people was the normal like average, even though I only had like 500 subs. I think it was like 450 or something around the time you came in. Someone want to tell me why I reset the 3DS? Or is the 3DS even working now? Hard rebooting the 3DS. Alright, 3DS got locked up there. I don't know why. It's a little concerning, but it only seems to do it on resets or reboots. I don't know what happened, but... yeah, that would be a little awkward now. I changed the name last time you were on the stream. You used to be Blue Ox Gaming. Ah, okay. Okay. Yeah, I remember you. It's like, I don't doubt you'd been here. It's like, I don't doubt you had been here. Because, like, obviously, like, how many people have been in these streams? There's a good chance I've forgotten a couple names. As much as I'd like to remember everyone, I mean, there's 2,400 subscribers at this point. That's a lot of names. But yeah, I remember you, man. I remember Blue Alex. I thought your old name was very cringe. I didn't think so, but I understand if you did. Change your name like 3 times until you settle with this one. Yeah. Someone drew that profile picture for you so it became permanent. That makes sense. Yeah, I just like in the past couple days changed mine to the Discord icon. I figured it fit a bit more now. But I do have to wonder, speaking of profile pictures, how much, like, the random, like, anime girl profile picture that I had back when I started, like, made people tune into the stream. Like, I kept that longer than I probably should have, because that was just a random image I found on, like, Reddit. That I was just like, alright, I'll, like, put this as my picture for just, like, the Google account that I use Chrome on. And, like, then I made it, then I started streaming, and it was the profile picture, and that's what it was. For the longest time. Yeah, I mean, he's always been Vanillix. It's just been, like, different words around Vanillix. Yeah, that profile picture. Yeah, that was a very old one. Yeah, I had that. I had that for, like, a good 6 months or so while doing the YouTube stuff. So it really needed to be changed, and like, so it got changed to the picture that it was, but with the old background. Since that old background was just like familiar enough, you know, like I didn't want to like drastically change the whole thing in the same way that like this profile picture has like the same background, just as my Gen 8 avatar in front of it. Should conduct an experiment, change it back to that for a while and see what happens. That would be interesting. That would be really interesting to see what happened. I'd feel bad now, though, because, like, I have no, like, someone made that as just, like, fan art. I'd feel weird keeping that as my profile picture. Like, I have thought about that. I've also thought about what would happen if I just, like, made a completely unaffiliated channel and tried streaming on that for a while. Just to see, like, what, like, YouTube's reaction to, like, a brand new channel would be, again. I feel like that would be a bit dramatic, though. So we'll just have to use Mel's channel for that. She'll be the brand new streamer. So I'm calling on all of you guys. When Mel starts streaming, we're just gonna make all of her streams blow up so that YouTube's like, oh, this is really great content, because it will be. And just like skyrocket her. Remember Ian wearing a Sidgewai outfit was a profile picture at one point? If that one point was like early 2018 until like Saturday, then yes, that was a point. Yeah, that was the one I just changed. That Rowlet Chibi thing? No, that was actually that was something a friend had taken, basically an image of like Umaru-chan from the internet, and then redrew the Decidueye's outfit over the top of it. But the like old one from like a long time ago. We're talking like back when I was using the GameCube and like the super old capture card, and like this was in the first like 6 months of streaming. Yeah, so Mel, how's the stream stuff coming, Mel? I haven't asked in a little bit. By a little bit, I mean like 2 days, but still. I'm excited. It'll be very interesting to watch. Absolutely! Absolutely. I want her to start streaming like ASAP, because I definitely want to be watching some of her streams. She's got a computer that can handle it now. Yo, Maz, what's going on, man? How you been? It's good to see ya. Had school for so long, and now you can watch this. Awesome, dude. What's up, man? What's up? We're just having some fun here. Good old times, shiny hunting. Hoping to get at least one of these two legendaries as a shiny today. How you been? Good to see ya. Oh, Wano, no. I haven't looked at it as much since the last conversation. I gotcha. It's crossed your mind on multiple occasions, so you haven't abandoned the idea. Awesome. Change a bit of the layout. Okay. Cool. Really cool that you remember you have thousands of subscribers you have. I could not do that if it was streaming. Dude, I'm surprised at how many people I've remembered, but yeah. Yeah, no, I absolutely remember that old name. So yeah, I'm glad to have you, man. High school is so tough, but you're getting through it. I believe in you. You've got this. Scrolling to the asset store. Hey, you can build Yandere Simulator. Vibin', yeah. This is some good vibin' music. Subbed on 7 different accounts. That's a lot of accounts. It was devastating. High school was, or subbing on 7 different accounts? I can imagine that takes a lot of effort. Draw a Pokeball. I'll draw one and I'll post it on Discord later. And it's not just going to be like a meme, like circle with a line through it. I will try my best to draw a Pokeball. Family wouldn't agree. Wouldn't agree with what? The nice joke, the Yansim joke. I remember being excited about that game. Just in the perspective of watching a game like be developed. And then nothing happened for 6 years. So like I haven't watched anything basically. Yo, Snowstar, welcome, welcome. Remember that controversy like it was yesterday? I mean, he didn't. The thing is, he didn't steal anything. As far as I can tell, he didn't steal anything. It's like, oh, he used these things you can find on the Unity asset stores. Like, yeah, that's kind of the point of them. And that's fine, but you can't... But, like, you use that to speed up development. Or to have a placeholder while you have artists do other stuff. The problem comes down to the fact that he makes more money... Now at least the problem is, he makes more money not releasing a game. You know? Like... That's just how it is. Like, he makes more money off of, like, the Patreon and, like, ad revenue on development updates. Like, yeah, I'd keep my game in development if... you know, I was making thousands of dollars a month off of, like, writing minimal amounts of code every week. Yeah, I would do that. I write way more code every week for way less right now. Yo, Jermaine, welcome to the stream. How you doing? I'm gonna find his assets. I mean, just look up, like, characters. Does anyone remember the Game Corner in old Pokemon games? Yeah. It's sad that they don't do it anymore. I understand why, but it's still a big loss. Hello again. All right, well, welcome back, Horse. I didn't realize you had left. Loved gambling in Pokemon. Yeah. I can't believe they took the gambling out of my video games. Alright guys, this Regidrago is going to be number 1500. Or I guess, yeah, 1500? That's fascinating. Yeah, no, I mean, the thing is, it's not bad assets. It's just they're intended to be like for very basic games or very placeholdery type things. Like, that's their point. That's their purpose. Also, do you think he looked really hard to find unique ones? No, he just like grabbed the first thing when he typed in like school characters. Regidrago's gonna shine 100%. All right, I'm glad. I prefer full shinies over. Excuse me. I prefer full shinies over like half shinies. Excuse me. I got the hiccup suddenly. Paint it. Paint the Pokeball that was mentioned earlier. I'm gonna use my tablet. Because that way I can post it. Is any asset in that game his? I mean, legally speaking, all of them. And also, like, most developers would have an artist do it for them anyways. Like, I take no issue with that fact. I think it's just the meme that he like can sometimes like stand on that hill too much and like defend that hill when he should just not. Like, that's not the hill to die on with everything for him, or it shouldn't be at least. Like, it's totally fine. Like, the asset store exists for the exact thing that he's doing. That makes perfect sense. I get that. He's had artists work on stuff, I think, but I don't think that they've, like... I don't know how much of that's been implemented. I stopped following that a long time ago. Horse once told you if you have a bone sticking out of your forehead, you're not a unicorn. Well, yeah, because it has to be a horn. It can't just be a bone. Where all the off-brand Minecraft stuff comes from. Oh, just like fake Minecraft assets. You think it came around at the time of the banana candle hunt? Oh, yes, Banana the Charmander. The Charmander with the 10k top hats. Good times. Not great times, but good times. Yeah, those hunts could be rough. They just got long. But like that was part of the fun though, right? That was part of the fun, you know, having the incredibly long hunts. Your rival's name's Wannabe Blue. It's like a shade of teal, not quite blue though. You don't get that honor. So favorite Splatoon song? The opening one for 2? I don't know. I haven't played enough Splatoon to know the songs. This wasn't... I didn't learn any of these questions in school. Remember we found Trika during the time you were on Twitch and your channel was down? Yeah, you mean like 5 minutes into content existing after my channel went away? I remember that. I'm totally not salty about that in any way. That was just such unfortunate timing. I mean, it somewhat was on me, but it really wasn't. Like, it's dumb that it happened. And it's on YouTube for, like, being stupid. But I am the one who applied for monetization the day before a big stream and basically said, hey, YouTube, look at my channel and see if it's okay. Yeah, back then, was I still on my, like, was I still on my 3 streams of 3 hours a week, or did I move to the, like, 5 2-hour streams? I forget. Because I know over the summer I did, like, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday or something. Or, like, Monday, Thursday, Saturday, I forget. I forget what my, like, original stream schedule was, but I know it was 3 days a week, because I had, like... Because I had work. I had work every day, and then, like, I had trivia on Wednesdays with friends. So, like, I know I didn't stream Wednesday, and I think I sandwiched that. It might have been Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. I'm not sure. You remember upset because you got Charmander while you were at work? You're not upset for long because Shin Rayquaza. Yes. Good old Shin Rayquaza. 2 hours, you believe? Okay, yeah. I mean, I feel like that makes sense. Like, that was when it was more consistently just, like, 2 hours. It was... Yeah, because I think I very quickly moved that 5 times... The 5x2 schedule over the 3x3 schedule once school started. I forget why, because I don't think it, like, affected... I don't... Like, classes ended, I think, earlier than like, work had. So I'm not sure why I moved that schedule that way, but I did. Upset, Rayquaza, do not be upset. Do not be upset, child. One day I could do a 24-hour stream. That would be fun if I didn't have to do anything for like 3 days after it. We'd also have to find a good thing to like do. Because as much as I would love to do shiny hunting for that long, I don't know if I could do shiny hunting for that long. I remember you were upset that I got all the Regis on like the only days you missed those streams. Rip, man. Man, I remember getting all the, I remember getting Ho-Oh in like 32 encounters and being 100% not prepared for that. So like, all the legendary beasts had been ridiculously hard. You know, like Suicune, I know Raikou, like Raikou and Suicune I think took forever. I'm not sure about Entei. Entei I feel like it was around like 800 or something, nothing insane. I'm pretty under odds, but not like spectacularly so. Whereas like, yeah, then you know, Ho-Oh, it's like, alright guys, we're getting going on these streams, this is Ho-Oh, and then, boom. Like, immediately, and I was like, I don't even have a thumbnail prepared for another hunt. I forget what we did. What did we do after that? Did we go for... Didn't we go for like a Zorla or something? I feel like that's what we did. Because I feel like we did Lugia and then we did Ho-Oh, because that was whatever the dex order was. And yeah, so we just did a Zorla. And we got it the same day too. Like we just did an SOS hunt because like, I guess we have time. And we like got the Zora and I was like, oh well, I can't stream anymore. Like I've run out of things to hunt. Still waiting for that 24-hour stream. If I didn't have work, I could. Rayquaza will always have your back. Rayquaza is always there for us. Suiki was a good hunt for you. Cake Luck, yeah! I remember that. Yeah. Sleep Lock. Yeah, I mean, the Sleep Lock lends itself to the 24-hour stream. I don't know how well my voice would fare. Which, again, none of this is really an issue if, like, a 24-hour stream wasn't going to require me, like, taking days off work to, like, prep and recover. You know? He'll bake a cake for Shiny, like, haha. Then it worked. It's good to know that Pokemon can be persuaded with food. You know, I've realized why, like, there's so many repeats in this. This one song that's currently playing is, it's called Yubi. It is 3 of the first 4 songs listed on this page when I sort this way. So that's why it's played so much. So we're gonna switch up the genre now. So let's see how this goes. Baked cupcakes for Lugia, but they didn't like them. They like cake, not cupcakes, apparently. It's like science, right? You gotta see what works. You don't eat cake anymore? I'll eat vanilla cake. I don't eat, like, chocolate cake. Chocolate cake's too much. Most chocolate things are too much. Only ever gotten one shiny above odds, which was only 300 encounters above. An IRL shiny charm. I am jealous, man. I've had several hunts go thousands over odds. Both of these hunts are over odds. One of these hunts is like thousands over at this point. I've just never been a big chocolate fan. In most circumstances, like where there's an equivalent, where it's like actually an equivalent thing, you know, like if you get like a donut that has like chocolate on it or something, that's like there's not really an equivalent to that anywhere, right? But like an actual like chocolate cake in the donut, nah. So I guess it's mostly down to like you know, when it comes to like chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream, it's vanilla, you know. And I thought Verizon was long. Verizon does not compare to this. Then you thought Reshiram went long. Reshiram does not compare to this, right? Yeah, that Lugia. You'll get it at some point. I can't promise you when anymore, but you'll get it at some point, Cinder. I can say that much. It'll happen. This feels like if this had some guitar in it, this could be like Doom music. You know, it has the energy. It has the energy of like a Doom song, but it's not like metal, so it doesn't really work. Will you ever play the other 2 Pokemon Ranger games? I owned them. I'll I'll have to play him at some point. I don't know if I could do a stream of it though, just with how sensitive my capture card is, and knowing that I'd just be violently swinging the little like stylus around. So yeah, I don't know if I could stream it. I own them and I intend to play them. I just need to be in the mood to play a Ranger game again, because I think I've earned the right to say I've played enough Ranger for like a person's life. Like, unless I want to become unless like, I feel like of people who haven't attempted to speedrun Pokemon Ranger, like I have probably one of the higher like number of playthroughs of people when it comes to that game. Without knowing speedrun strats, I managed to get my time down to like 6 hours. Just because that meant I could finish the game easily within GameStop's return period for used games. Because yeah, that hunt cost me what, like that hunt cost me like $20, which is nothing for when you're like, oh, I bought I think I bought like 13 copies of that game. Yeah. You have any encounters yet for it by now? I know it's past 10,000. I don't know the number, but I know you're past 10,000. You're gonna bounce. It's about time for you to get ready for a bit. Alright, see you later, man. Thank you for tuning in the stream. It's good to have you here. I hope to see you again soon. I remember being Entei with Ariados in the first Ranger game. Entei was rough. Like, realistic, that whole last battle was so rough. But I got, like, especially the first few times through, by my 8th or 9th playthrough, it was just whatever. But that was a rough battle. Past 10,000 is correct. In a similar way to saying 2020 was less than 5 years ago is correct. An exaggeration. I can feel the energy behind that statement though, Cinder. I can feel that. What is it? It's like 14,000 or something, right? I feel like that's a bit more of a guess, but 10K is not the correct 5-digit milestone. Really? Really? How did I not remember that? 25? I feel like I'm guessing low, but I have to. I have to, like, give your sanity, like, the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, I'm terrified of doing like a full odds hunt that has the luck of Regice. Not 25k. Okay. But still, 22,000 encounters. That's crazy. I genuinely could not imagine myself doing a hunt that went like over 20,000. Clearly, I've done a hunt that went over 10k. That's been the thing. I got to like almost 15. But I couldn't do 10k. Or I couldn't do like a 20k plus hunt, I don't think. You have pins of Entei, Suicune, and Raikou in your room? Nice. Nice. I don't think I have anything special for them. I don't have a lot of like Gen 2 type stuff. Yeah. the infamous Natu hunt. Yeah, how many like how many phases did that hunt have? Because I know it wasn't just like no shinies until Natu. Like there were multiple phases to that hunt. What? Does anyone remember what that was though? Prepare for long hunts when you're playing in Gen 4. I mean, at least those are involved. Those aren't terrible. I mean, like for the most part, like I don't think Gen 4 is too terrible. Like you have Poker Radar, you at least have a fun method. And again, I'm not opposed to method hunting. It's more efficient. So that's my whole thing. It's efficiency is great as long as it's not like to the point where it's completely ruining, or it's like completely ruining the specialness of the Pokemon. And outside of wormhole hunts, I don't think they've really done that. You know, or wormhole hunts and event Pokemon. Event Pokemon are a whole thing. Poker Radar. Mel is very fond of Poker Radar. We should see Mel do some Poker Radar hunts. I tried to get her set up with my DS cap card guys, but I don't know. It didn't play nice with her computer for some reason. Which was really strange because like I plugged it into mine and it worked immediately. So I don't know what was going on with hers. Because like hers was a fresh Windows install too, so like it wasn't like anything was like conflicting with it. It just wasn't working, and that's so strange. What's the method? Never heard of it. Oh, Cinder, the local full odds hunter. Try to hunt Latios, and Soul Silver. Those are roamers, right? If I'm not mistaken. I feel like I've forgotten so much knowledge of Pokemon over the past like year that I haven't really been following it. I feel so bad about that. But they're roamers, right? Yeah, okay, so full odds roaming hunt? No. Because doesn't that have to work differently with the roamers there? There was some madman in chat at one point who I think tried doing a roamer hunt. I forget what it was for, but I remember it was ridiculous, whatever he was doing. It's a Gen 4 roamer hunt. Where he had, like, significant amounts of gameplay before he could see the Pokemon. Like, I couldn't. That's crazy. He attempted it. I would definitely believe it was Michael. I'll have to see how that's going for him. I know he pops into Puffin, or I know he's like a mod on Puffin streams now. So he's usually over there. Sonic TTS has most of the roamer shinies. Nice. It'd be fun to do something like that, you know, for the like as dumb as it probably is, for like the clout of having like done a roamer hunt like that. That's kind of partially why I want to do the Manaphy hunt. Like, I know of one other legit one, and even then it's just the guy saying it was legit. And I trust that more than whatever one floats around on YouTube all the time. May or may not have been planning to hunt a roamer. You got it, Cinder. You'll get it like in five encounters, and it'll be no problem. Hunt the roaming beast in Gen 2. Yeah, because for those you have to like, yeah, because they're set the moment that they're set the moment that you like encounter them in or like the moment that you release them, right? So you're dealing with a couple stressors there. Seeing as that was still the point where they could roar and end the battle permanently with no way of recovering. Easiest mythical or legendary mythical Pokemon to hunt might be Fion. Yeah, I mean, because you're just breeding Manaphy for that. That's just a Masuda hunt at that point. You can do some cheese. What's the cheese? I feel like with the earlier games like Gen 2 and stuff, you could probably kind of like cheese some of it just with like the way stats are. But it's also such a simple system that I don't know how much cheese you'd really have. You can get the dogs from all across Mahogany Town. Yeah, Entei intended to roar, but just, like, caused, like, a volcano below him and just fell into it, and that was it. It's over. You know the Saffron City in the remakes? What causes the roamers to do that? Like, all convene in a single place? Is it just, like, the way their pathing works out? The way they're programmed. I mean, yeah, of course this is a program, but like, just like basically, is it just like they all eventually convene there if you do certain things, or is they only move you change routes by walking through the frame change? Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of wild, like you would fly back and forth to places, I know at least, to like change where they are. Gonna hunt the Kanto birds in Platinum, which are roamers similar to Raikou Entei, where you don't know which one you'll find is shiny first. Loki hoping for Moltres to be the roamer. Whichever two birds you don't get as roamer, you'll hunt in Hardcode Soul Silver as normal soft reset hunts. Sounds like a plan. So how does the roamer stuff work in Hardcode Soul Silver? Is it... Because I know... some game at least, like the roamer was, all of its stats were set as soon as like all the stuff happened to release it. Was it Cresselia? But there was something where basically like your last save before you saw if it was shiny or not was like significant amounts of game in the past, or at least like a lot of looking, because you had to release the roamer and then find it, then encounter it, and then reset. Like it was a lot of extra work. I don't think Cresselia was a roamer though, so I'm probably wrong there. But I feel like some roamer had something like that. Or is it basically just you save in front of it and your first encounter is the random one? Saffron City is connected by only tunnels. So you can hunt for 4 routes at once. Okay. What's good is if you outspeed the roamer and use disable or taunt, you got it in the back. Yeah. Also the fact that most of the time if the roamers run, like, they keep their stats. So, like, if it's shiny when you first encounter it, as long as it's not, like, the, like, bugged Entei that can roar and end the battle and, like, lock you out of ever getting Entei, you're fine. You just soft reset on a route to hunt roamers. Okay. See, I've never done a roamer hunt, so it's something I'd have to like look up and just find like an FAQ for it and be like, how does this like actually work? Yo, J-Teen, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Can't cheese and Sinnoh, it's painful. Rip. What if you got the Gen 4 freeze? No. Let's not think about that. No, I don't want that. That would be bad. Gen 4's already given me enough of a heart attack once. Does that anyone remember the issue we almost had with Manaphy? If you're full out hunting anyway, you want it to be painful. That's kind of the point, just being an M here. Didn't the file almost corrupt? It did corrupt, but thankfully those old games, like, or not like those old games, but like DS games and onwards for Pokemon at least had like corruption protection. Like they had a backup on the file and went, oh, it corrupted. Let's recover this. I was like, please don't be doing this, you know. Yeah, that was terrifying. If you're gonna hunt the burbs in platinum. Like, if you're gonna hunt the birds, hunt them in platinum. Throw in Mesper and Cresselia. Yeah, no, I was absolutely panicked. I mean, like, what else would I do at that point? Like, my only real option would be to, like, go and buy 5 more copies of Ranger at least and play through those and hope to God that it worked. I didn't have a lot of options. You have a shiny Cresselia from Black White 2 already, so no need to grab a roamer of them. Yeah, fair. I don't have a shiny Cresselia yet. Hopefully I can somehow get one, but Mesprit's got to shine first. Or Azelf, wow. It's been a long day. But yeah, hopefully Azelf shines first. Or needs to. Yeah, I was very concerned with that diamond corruption, that like it was gone. I was like, well, I mean, or no, it wasn't even fun. It would have been all of them. It was all of them. They were all in that game at that point. Yeah, all, like, 10 of my eggs would have been gone. I would have had to completely redo my like, quest for Manaphy with a now even smaller number of cartridges in my area that had it. Like, I legitimately would, I would go on, like, GameStop's website and, like, their store locator and just look up all the stores and find which ones had copies of Ranger. And I would just, like, buy them. Like, I would just drive out there, even if it was, like, an hour away. I went out, drove, and bought, like, a copy or two of Ranger from them. And then, like, took them back. I was probably doing a couple things that that were frowned upon by GameStop, admittedly. Especially with those older used games. It was perfectly reasonable to be like, hey, I need to, like... Is it okay if I, like, check the cartridge and, like, make sure it boots and everything? You know, like, maybe the contents are bad. Especially with, like, a used game like that. It's like, I always had my 3DS with me. So, like, it was no problem. Like, it was like, I have a system. I'm not, like, gonna grab a system and run off with it, too. Like, the worst that could happen is I get banned from GameStops permanently and they lose, like, one initial, like, $20 expense. So like, yeah, they're like, yeah, whatever. Like, mess around with it, bring it up to the counter if like yes or no, right? And so I'd boot the game and then go and check if it had the egg. So like I'd be like, yeah, it's not like, it's like, oh yeah, no, it's, like, even then I could just be like, yeah, it's like, it's missing something, like, and it's unrecoverable. It's fine to sell it, it's just whatever. It was like, I need that little thing. But I know there were multiple GameStops who just like recognized me coming back in, like, oh, did it end up not working? And I was like, sure. Give it back to him. Yeah, it was that was a time. And then at the end, I had like a stack of them still that I finished them all. I was like, I realized I gotta take these back and like return them at some point. And I learned that there's a limit to the number of identical games you can return to GameStop, or you can sell to GameStop at once. And it's like 7. It's like no, it was 10. It was 10, and I got left with like 3 of them. I was like, that's fair. Yo, Madison, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? I love the Rallad profile picture. You'd have to predict the weather for Gen 5 ones? No. No, I don't like that. I just dislike weather in Pokemon games in general. A horse, welcome back yet again. There's a spin-off game that gave you Landorus and the other genies. Yeah, there were a couple of games that, like, a couple of the spin-offs that had that like kind of thing where you got the Pokemon from them. What would have been the games that could have given it for Gen 5 though? 'Cause I don't. What spin-off games came out alongside Gen 5? I don't remember any. We literally just had that song. Come on now. Drumstep must just be a very small category on Monster Cat. Your dad finished watching The Planet? Planet V? What's that? Thundurus and Tornadus are actually the easiest farmers to hunt because you can treat them like static hunts. Oh, like once they're a thing. Check them in the Pokedex, and if it says you've seen them shiny, then your roaming one is shiny. So, like, when you initially kick it off, you can tell if it's shiny or not. Neat. Then it just comes down to finding it. Neat. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's in between towns and cities. You can tell like there's a heavy thunderstorm on Route 7, and then you'll know you got them. Gotcha. Still, in general, I'm not a. I always feel like the weather RNG was against me. No idea what it is, but it was boring. Fair. Pokemon Dream Radar. Oh yeah, that was like wasn't that like one of the eShop games or something? Once you get a shiny roamer, you want to let it roam. That's exactly what it looked to have a shiny roaming legendary in your game, just like floating around there. See, that's where going back to someone asked earlier, I think Juan asked earlier, like, oh, would you ever hunt like the Wally Ralts? It's like, I would if like it would still be shiny as a Kirlia and Gardevoir, but it's not, so it's not worth it. But like, if you could have a game where it's like, look at Wally, he has a shiny, that'd be cool. That'd be so cool. But unfortunately, no. Gen 5 was the first to have a proper weather in a Pokemon game, and I'm sad that it did. Weather is always one of the biggest obstacles in getting the Pokemon I want. I think he means in the sense of like the weather changed at different times. Like Gen 3, it's like if a route was rainy, it was always rainy. Or if it was always like the only way to change like weather events in Gen 3 was like story based, if you could change it at all. Where like Gen 5 actually had like randomized weather. Like in the same way that like there are various areas in say Alola that are different weather at just random times. Yeah, the Weather Wars too. Alright, we've definitely run through this entire genre on here. Pop doesn't have a lot of anything. Shocker. Not a lot under that either. Come on. Alright, there we go. Sorry about that. I just didn't feel like listening to the same song like a third time. Back in the day, you had to put a cheat code to ease the game, but nowadays you pay the developers. Nowadays you just buy the game and those cheat codes are baked in. Yeah, as soon as you step into a specific route, boom, rain. Pretty much, yeah. That was the extent of weather in the older games. Yeah, like the only time the weather changed was like Groudon Kyogre based, which doesn't really count as randomized weather. But yeah, for me, like, the weather can be annoying, because most of the time I'm noticing the weather isn't like, ooh, it's adding, like, wasn't because it was, like, adding, like, atmosphere to the game or anything. It was solely because it meant I couldn't catch a certain Pokemon at a certain time because the weather was wrong. That's the only thing it did, was, like, make it more difficult to catch them all. So from that perspective, I could do without randomized weather. Gen 3 Legendaries had a cool concept. Oh, for sure. Like it was a big enough thing for them to be like in charge of, like to be like big story points and everything. I mean, like, not saying the other ones weren't, but the other ones were just like legends. Like they weren't. I don't know, they were like a much smaller kind of deal individually, you know? Where like Groudon and Kyogre and Rayquaza are like, you know, earth, water, sky. Like bigger concepts, a bit more tangible of a concept. Whereas like all the previous legends had up until that point, aside from like Mew and Mewtwo being, you know, Pokemon lore related, or mostly just kind of like equivalents to like a god that would be in charge of like a single shrine in Japan or something, you know? That's way more what it kind of felt like with them, where like they're here, they do their thing, they exist, there's a story around them, but like they don't affect like the world at large, right? You know, aside from being like a protector or something like that, you know? Whereas like Groudon and Kyogre are like just very angry deities in charge of like the earth. The Seasons thing was cool. That is a neat concept. Yeah, based off like your hemisphere, right? Can you change your clock or your under DS, would there be a penalty? Usually, if there was ever a penalty, it would be like 24 hours. Was kind of the deal with that. I know. In a lot of the games, if you changed your clock, the time-based events would all lock for 24 hours. Basically kind of being like, hey now, you've changed your clock. Like, we're going to punish you. Basically, you should have waited the right amount of time And like, if it's a big enough thing that you do need to change your clock, you're gonna have to wait another 24 hours. $23.59 trick? What's that trick? If you never fight Kyogre or Groudon and Ruby and RSC, what happens? After like a week of in-game hours put in, the game just crashes. It just decides you aren't going to play it the way they wanted you to play it, and it just deletes all your saves, because, yeah, you should play it their way. Yeah, I don't know of anything in, like, Gen 4 having locks, but Gen 5's definitely where, like, I think we started to see a lot more of the restrictions get clamped down on the games. Steven would eventually do it. It's like, this kid's not doing it. I don't know why we were expecting the 10-year-old to do it in the first place. This is a really weird, like, you know, chain of responsibility in this situation, but I guess I'll step up and deal with it, you know? I just wonder, what's like going on in the Pokemon world that, like, it's one thing. It's already kind of weird, but, like, you know, it seems like everyone seems to be generally decent, aside from, like, specifically people who get involved with, like, Team Rocket and stuff. Like, you can just, like, let a 10 or 11-year-old go out on their own and do whatever and walk across your entire country. Cool, I guess. But also, why is a child suddenly responsible for stopping the end of the world as we know it? That might be, like there's taking a small step, and then there's, like, launching yourself out of a cannon somewhere. Like, both of them moved you forward. One much more so than the other, and seemingly unnecessary and unrelated to the other one. Like, hey man, I'm not 10. I'm 10. That's not my job. Yeah, like, my neighbor, you know, told me to go and, like, look at what every Pokemon looked like. I've seen what the angry red and blue things look like. I don't need to be any closer to that. Oh, once Wally's a Don, Wally gets involved in organized crime after we help him catch a Ralts. How do the kids not get kidnapped? That's where I'm like, all right, cool. We can go with this idea that it's just like a super peaceful place. Like, that's fine. I'm okay with that. That makes sense. But again, the gods start fighting using the powers of, like, nature, like the forces of Earth and the ocean to fight. It's like, This 10-year-old fought off some of these, like, guys wearing bandanas a little while ago. I don't see why he can't be the one to defeat them. It's like, dude, it's like, I got my lizard, like, a week ago. I barely remember its name and what kind of food it eats. Like, yeah, no one points out that we're 10. Granted, they kind of do in Gen 8 and everyone hates it, but that's also because, like, it's because we've ignored it because it's good gameplay, but then they remove the gameplay. It's like, alright, but we missed all the fun parts of the story. Yo, Jermaine. Welcome back. I don't know if you've been gone or not. I feel like I haven't seen you here in a bit. 10-year-olds are apparently considered adults in the Pokemon world. I can feel like it being like a similar thing to like being 13, right? But that's about it. You left for a bit. I gotcha. Hope you're still doing well. Red is purple, Mr. Oak. What else do you want? I can barely remember what this weird money is called. The 14 in the black and white games. That'd be interesting. I know for the most part they've all been like 10, and then it was a big deal, like, not a big deal, but it was notable that in Sun and Moon, Sun and Moon are like 10 or 11 instead of 10. Sword Shield are like 12 though. While like that is admittedly like an extra 20% of their life to be like 10 to 12. You're still 12. You were still a child. Like, we cannot be expecting you to like save the world if you can't have a Discord account. like you're 12, you can save the world, but now Discord you gotta be 13. Sorry about that. You know. Like, come on now. I've always switched the roles of the main protagonist in Gen 9. Should be an NPC. And truly feel the pain of standing there for eternity. You're just in charge of being a spinner, and you gotta see how many people you can beat before you get taken out. That's your whole job. It's just like ruin protagonist, like, you know, Pokemon trainer streams. Confirms in the manga the black and white protagonists were in their teens. Like, that's more reasonable. That's more reasonable, but it's still like it's like, obviously it doesn't actually affect gameplay in any way. It's just a funny kind of thing to think about, right? Like, small child, you now have access to hold this turtle that can spit at the birds that attack you if you leave town. Go play with it. Oh, you came across like a gang? Your Squirtle's bigger now. You can fight him, right? Wait. It's just funny. It's funny to kind of think about the logic of that. Oh, the CM Flamethrower Charmeleon has a use now. Nice. So guys, I see we're at 14 likes on the stream. Thank you for that. If you haven't liked already and you do like the stream, I would appreciate it if you did like it. I will shamelessly plug that. Just because it helps. It helps the streams out, lets YouTube know that it's actually a good thing. And the people are like interacting with it and whatnot. We got about, what? About 20-ish minutes or so left in the stream. A little more than that. No idea what encounter number we're going to get to, but we'll see how far we get. Can't you just punch the Poochyena? You're a grown man, it's a dog. There's no PETA in this universe. At least not at the time of Hoenn. Lost your whole team a total of 4 times already. Rip. Rip, my man. Yo, I played I beat Hollow Knight. I beat Hollow Knight last night. I was super hyped with that. So I know I'd been talking about Hollow Knight on stream on Sunday. So I figured I'd bring up. I beat it. Now I have to 100% it, and it is painful. It's painful. I bring it up because of the 4 times thing reminded me. It's just, it's craziness. You know, I've got to do the like the dream battles now, like all the rematches on the bosses. I feel like that one's gonna be rougher than I want it to. Gen 1 is some quality humor, for sure. All the games have their moments. Like I don't think there's a single game that just is a complete flop. Some like as a whole might not be great, but like they all have their moments, you know. Poochyena might have Pokerus. Except for Pokerus is like the one good virus. Older games had a humor and edginess like Earthbound. I mean, games still have it, it's just not the same games, right? Yeah, like, for being a criminal organization, Jermaine, you're kind of right. Like, why are they following the rules of Pokemon battles? It would save them a lot of time. But see, that also kind of goes to show why, like, it's totally safe for just, like, a 10-year-old to walk around somewhere in the Pokemon universe. Is like, I mean, even the criminals follow the rules. Like, at least all the rules of interacting. I heard it is fan on the ground if you don't have coffee. I mean, I could see it. Some people really need that coffee, man. Yeah, I really gotta work on a playlist. I think that'll be the... I've kind of done, like, you know, like I've been saying, I've been doing, like, a little bit of a tweak on the stream each week, or, like, each stream. You know, just, like, lining elements up better, or like, adjusting or adding little boxes and stuff. I added the alert box today, like, you know, for the members and super chats and stuff like that. Actually, will show up in, like, it'll actually show up on the stream now. I think subs won't. Subs have just been an issue with Streamlabs. Excuse me, for a little bit, like, you know, usually, like, oh, so-and-so subbed, like, that's apparently busted right now. But, like, you know, super chats and stuff should show up now. Like, as an alert, not just, like, it's the latest super chat or latest member. I think for tomorrow, or whenever the next stream is, because, again, I don't have a schedule. I can't say for certain I'll stream tomorrow, but the goal is to stream as many days as possible and as often as possible. Well, we just put together a playlist of a bunch of songs, because, like, right now I'm just slowly filtering through different genres on here on Monster Cat, and there's a lot of dupes. Cubone's kind of dark. Cubone's, like, yeah, Cubone's description is a little bit dark, and it's like, how are there this many Cubones then? Like, how does breeding Cubones work? Blooming of the Lavender Town, you notice Raticate's not on his team anymore. That's always the lore, but really what it is just Raticate's not a difficult Pokemon to fight at that point. Like, clearly the lore is there. Like, or that's like the kind of, like, headcanon of people. They can't go through the plans. They can't continue without you. You're like a pivotal part of their plan. Completely unrelated, but like Giovanni has told them explicitly, like you can't move forward. Like we wait, we prepare, and then we wait for this specific 10-year-old to come walking down this path. And it's like, but boss, but we could just do it now. So, no, we gotta wait. We gotta get this. This is part of this, like, it's part of the whole plan. Won't work otherwise. If you decide to not do anything, we won't do anything. If you decide to stop us, then we'll do something. They'll just release us Raticate. Raticate lost one too many battles. Not in the death way, but just in the, like, I'm sick of you. Voltorb's actually a Pokeball controlled by Haunter. Interesting thought. What decides its evolution into Electrode then? Pretty sure it dies. All right. He did. Rip Raticate. I guess it's been decided. So he gets us being a rock star? How so? The game kind of tries to point out. Does it? I don't really remember any dialogue that, like, hints towards that. It's still dark. I mean, the concept of Lavender Tower is a bit darker than I feel like a lot of the games would try to go now anyways. eBay dealer. Not how do you go from rockstar to just eBay seller? That's a significantly different like career path. He gets angry and screams too much, just like all eBay sellers. I didn't know that was inherently an eBay seller characteristic. Shiny Azelf in 3, 2, 1. Alright. Alright, Jermaine, we'll see. Do you mean like in 3, 2, 1 like a countdown? Or do you mean like in 321 more? What's the lore with Hydreigon? This is a good one. It's countdown. Okay. Alright, well, we'll see. We'll see if this Azelf is shiny. Hopefully it is. Imagine Pokemon games started out as you as a child born into a gang and you turn good in the end. Like you start as the evil team and you have to like go against them. That'd be interesting. I don't know if a Pokemon game would have time to go into that enough though. Like they already cut out so much of just the normal traditional Pokemon story this time around, like in Gen 8. I don't know how they would do that, you know. I don't know how they would pull that off properly. I guess is more correct. I don't know how they would do that right. Hydreigon's lore is pretty gruesome. It definitely would be. Like that's always like an interesting kind of like perspective to take on it. Yeah, someone pointed out I think the other day, like that since they're friends with me on here, like they're like, oh yeah, Ian's streaming because they like logged into Pokemon. I hope it doesn't spam it every single time I I reset the game. So I feel like that's a great way to have all of my friends unfriend me. What if it became a tradition for every gen to have a new Reggie set? I wouldn't like that. Reggie Drago and Reggie Eliki are fine. Like it's fine to add on to them every once in a while. I think that's okay. Every gen though's a bit much. I mean, even Eevee doesn't have every gen. Eevee just has, like, when there's a new evolution form to show off, like, there's certain times that they'll make new ones, and I feel like Reggie should be treated the same way. I mean, they're legends. Like, they should, to an extent, they should be handled, like, in a specific way. What if it became oh, you played a ROM like that? Where you were the bad guy? It would make the game a lot easier. I mean, you would basically still have like the same leveling, right? Like, I don't think it would make the game easier. I just think that's like one of those story points where like, you play a certain way for a while, and then there's a twist, and like they've kind of done the twist before. That has happened, where you're like, oh, you're helping these people, but oh no, they're actually the bad guys, or they're helping the bad guys, or something like that. Like that's happened before, but like have a full like character development changing moment, like takes a bit more build up than I feel like, and a little bit more nuance I feel than a Pokemon story would have. Not bashing Pokemon stories, it's just like, it's like, there are certain games I'll expect to have really deep lore and really deep and intricate stories, and then there are games I won't expect to have that. You know, like, I don't expect the, like, person I'm technically driving as in a racing game to have some super deep backstory, you know? So I feel like the same kind of deal goes for, like, in a Pokemon game, I want enough of a story to keep me, like, going forward, and I'm fine with the usual formula. I'm fine with the 8 gyms, and around, like, gym 3 or 4, you kind of run into these bad guys, and around gym 6 or 7, you have to go off and stop the bad guys, and then you come back and you do gym 8, you do Victory Road, and you go woohoo, and then you do whatever the heck you actually wanted to do with the game post-game. That's fine with me. I'm not expecting some super intricate story in a Pokemon game. That's fine. And I just, it's like I'm not bashing it when I say I just don't think the Pokemon formula, or like the traditional Pokemon story, has enough time for that. Because that's kind of one of those things I'd want them to do right if they attempted it. Which, hey, more Pokemon, better, but let's have them just make a good game with the normal formula first. It's only been a year since Gen 8 was released. This is going to take a while. Yeah, I mean, it's been like a year and a couple months, basically. Yeah, so I think, I wouldn't be surprised if we started seeing stuff about Gen 4, like Sinnoh remakes, or whatever the heck we're actually going to get this year. It could just be a Let's Go game, for all we know. It could be the Let's Go Johto combo of games, which I think a lot of people are kind of anticipating will happen. And again, like, Game Freak does a decent job of, like, not broadcasting like what their next move's gonna be, which is fine in most cases. You know, I'm cool with being kept on our toes as far as like interest and stuff, but just so long as it's not a flop. See Johto in 3D, you will cry. Excuse me. Guess so saying quiet kid with zero expression would be hard to have any development. Exactly. Like, you know, a Pokemon character, like the Pokemon trainer that you play as, is generally a pretty blank canvas for you to just be you. You know, Gen 7 took it a little bit too far. With your character having like 3 reactions throughout the entire game to anything. You know, like, yeah, so it'd be hard to like really put character development into that. Like, I hadn't really even thought about that side of it, but yeah. You have to take away their whole silent protagonist formula. Or their just style. I wouldn't really even call it a formula. You better learn from Sword and Shield. They won't. I say they have. I would say they have. I think, maybe not from Sword and Shield, but they have learned since Sword and Shield was kind of cemented in its planning. So they might not have learned from Sword and Shield. I feel like they more so learned from other games doing well on video game consoles still. Because people in power at Game Freak seem to not have faith in the Switch. Weirdly. Like, of all the people to not have faith in the Switch, it's Game Freak. And that shows. Like the first game they released that wasn't a kind of like a mainline Pokemon game or a mobile game, because like all their spin-offs since like Super Mystery Dungeon have been mobile games that might have also gotten a console release. That's all they were. You know, even like going into the Switch, I mean, Pokemon Quest, Pokemon Go, that cafe game they just released. You had, I don't think it wasn't Rumble, right? But they're like little bejeweled, you know, Candy Crush clone. You know, they're very much going into the mobile market, and with Sword and Shield like underperforming compared to other Switch games, I think they kind of realized, oh wait, like this isn't the Switch's problem, it's our problem. I mean, it didn't even underperform. Let's be honest. The games did fine. They could totally just make another like clone of these, but with Sinnoh maps and some more Pokemon, and people would buy it. But they've admitted that they were wrong, and then there were actual technical issues in development. This year off is honestly, I think, it's been a roundabout conversation to get here, but this year that they have taken off of releasing like a new RPG, I think is a sign that they are fixing stuff. Did Pokemon Sleep ever come out? I don't know. Did it? Jenny made the trainer really expressive. They did learn from all the memeing that was done on them about Gen 7, yeah. I mean, in the manga they're expressive because they're not you. 3 reactions is way too much. Yeah, no reactions at all. The fact that the default reaction is smiling is too much emotion. This child is too happy. Gen 5 looked far different than Gen 4, and both are on the DS. Will Gen 9 look far different from Gen 8 as well, or will it be the same art style? It'll be a different art style for sure. Look at Gen 6 to Gen 7. In that case, they don't even perform all that differently. The models are the same, but the Pokemon models are the same, but the Pokemon models have been the same from Gen 6 all the way through Gen 8. Technically, they are different in Gen 8. I will say that, but that's not coming from they wanted to change the art style. That's coming from they broke their importer and had to like remake them. So that's a separate problem. But I don't think we'll see the Pokemon models change in any ways. They might get reshaded. They'll look better when the system is in HD, clearly, like it is now. I think you'll see a different style. It's like, you know, for the most part, they're kind of hitting a point where it's like they can't get much more realistic with their current style, you know. So I don't think we'll see the, you know, like I said, Gen 6 to Gen 7, you know. The mapping, they changed it up. You know, the world finally fully embraces the analog stick and just proper analog movement. The characters' proportions are way more human-like and way less cartoony, stuff like that. Like, you know, we'll see changes in that regard. I don't think we're not going to see anything more dramatic than that. Wasn't there like a spin-off board game, but it got shut down? There was Pokemon Duel, and yeah, it did shut down, but yeah, that was just it wasn't popular. Again, like they've had flops on mobile. But yeah, I think overall Pokemon Company kind of realized like, we were wrong. People still like look at like Last of Us and stuff. Like I think they kind of looked at stuff like Last of Us and everything and went, like Sony's still like doing very well selling, you know, like story-driven single-player offline content. Like, wow, we can sell games like that still, you know? We can charge 60 next-gen, like all the PS5 and Xbox Series games are selling for $70 a piece, which I assume Switch will probably stick to the 60, but technically 50 everywhere, because all stores do like the $10 discount kind of deal until whatever the next console is, and then they'll go up to 70 as well, because of course they will. But I think they did learn. I think of all the times for Game Freak to have learned, they actually did learn this time with Sword and Shield. Maybe that's me being optimistic. Maybe we'll get burned with, you know, remakes in Gen 9. I don't know, but I have hope. Game Freak pulling off the 3D camera in 2019, where almost every game dev had done it for years. What do you mean pulling off 3D? Oh, like the... I mean, they've had the 3D camera. I don't think it's inherently wrong to be like, oh, like I don't think it's an inherently bad game, like bad design or something. They just couldn't do it to have the camera locked at a certain position. That's totally fine. I had no problem with Pokemon sticking to that. That was totally okay with me. Again, I think I'm in the minority when everyone else is chanting like Wild Area was great. Give us more of that, and I'm like, that was my least favorite part. And I'd prefer because I am very much of the mindset of not every game has to be open world. We don't need to make everything open world. There is no need for every game out there to be open world. And I think, like, just because a game's an RPG also doesn't mean it needs to be open world. Like, clearly some games, like a platformer, doesn't need to be open world. Like, we all get that. A Mario game doesn't need to be open world, a 2D Mario game at least. But, like, you have to do open world right. I don't think the wild area was right. And the problem with Pokemon is, Pokemon's a game with so much progression to it that, like, you have to remove the idea of an easier area to make the wild area not get boring quickly, you know? I don't know. That's my take, though. I know my take is a one-person take of someone who generally doesn't play a lot of open-world games. Never had a problem with it either. Game Freak treated it like no one had done it before. I think they were just looking for things to show off with that game, because they needed to get as much, like, look at what we've done out there before they went, by the way, half the Pokemon won't be in the game. You know, like, by the way, you know, that thing that we're, like, praised for with our compatibility and, like, all this stuff? Like, yeah, we didn't do it this time. Still pay for home, though. Alright, guys, it is 8:30. We will do one more encounter of each here. And see what we can get. See if we get lucky with these shinies or not. So let's go. Let's see. Regidrago or Azelf. And it looks like both are not shiny, so we'll be continuing tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, but possibly tomorrow. I'm not sure. Tomorrow is Wednesday. I will see you at some other in a period in the future of 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It was fun hanging out with everyone tonight. I'm really, really happy that I've been getting back into the streams and hanging out with you guys some more. Thank you all for hanging out, you know, chatting with me and stuff. Doing our usual Pokemon ranting. And yeah, I will see you all next time. So until then, take care.